Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time, and God, there are so many things I want to tell you. But today I'm going to talk about DC and some of the interests that have been happening in DC, and just to bring clarity to some of the information that have been out there regarding some of their projects. Now, it's not that I'm here to bootlick anyone. I'm just here to give a little bit of clarity and just let everyone stop going around and spreading misinformation and all that. So, in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, let's get right into it. So, about a few days ago, or I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. There was this particular article that came out and basically said this particular project has been cancelled. This particular project has been put on hold and all that. So today, I'm just going to talk about that and some of what we know based on all the information that has been out there. So I can be like, oh, everyone is just going around spreading every single thing. You can see more information on the social media or on websites, and without clarity, just the headline alone can just make you feel that oh, this is what it's saying. When meanwhile, the articles themselves are saying a whole different thing. So let's get right into it. So the particular source of this game is called the Ankara, which, by the way, they are not one that is popular like that. So whenever we get information like this, we put rumors. If you are scrolling straight on our social media platform, you're going to see that whenever there's an information from a particular news source that is not verifiable, we just put rumors. Like there are even some scoopers that are putting out informations out there, even though there's a 90% chance that those guys are right, we also put rumors because once in a while they get things wrong and it's not like we're trying to lead people on with any agenda. So when I checked the article, I realized that even them themselves, the anchors guys, they are also scooping information and they got some information right there. So um let me make this clear. Some of these informations that are out there, we've gotten updates like a few weeks ago from James Gunn, like Paradise Lost, for instance. Once this one said that Water and Paradise Lost are reportedly no longer in development. Which, by the way, we could get that Waller, it's not happening in a very long time. James Gunn said that it's in the back burner, it's been on the shelf. So basically, the information that we could verify that that information is somewhat true. And as to no longer in development at all, that is not true. There are some information that can go out there and be like, oh, it's the big thing, and in reality, James Conner is going to say that not this is not happening. Now, about a few days ago, we got the information that because of the Paramount and Warner Brothers merger, majority of DC projects, not the same, but majority of Warner Brothers IP, that is the big ones, big IPs, they are going to need approval from Paramount. So if you use that logic, you can realize that this is what's happening behind the scene. Like it doesn't mean that James they don't have it's not, it doesn't mean that they don't have faith in James Gunn or they don't have faith in DCU or DC studios in general. It's just that when you are making an accusation that for this that is $111 billion, you're going to have some say, especially when it comes to projects that will affect the future of your own business. Because if they put out big IPs or big projects out there, and it turns out that in the long run, those big projects are not going to work out for them. I don't believe that Paramount is going to be happy with that. So imagine spending all this money and there's only like three Black Batman projects out there, and it now turns out that it's more cost than returns for them. It's not going to work. So it's, in a business mind or business perspective, that is um, good, and that is what you're supposed to know. That, okay, when it comes to that kind of thing, nobody's going to spend that much money. Now, as for Waller and Paradise Lost, the thing that kind of surprises me is that about 3 years ago, James Gunn announced the Gods and Monsters for Chapter 1 of the DCEU, and Paradise Lost and Mola Road, one of those shows that were like, okay, that's what's going to happen. It's not that a lot of people are asking for that. A lot of people are asking for DCU project, just listening project, which is compared of the main seven members. And since James Gunn have tried to sell us on this is what this is going to be about. Everybody has been acting every single time that what happened to Waller. And Paradise Lost is the closest thing we are going to get to a new Wonder Woman TV show. Even though Wonder Woman is not going to be in it at all. So Waller no longer in development. That has not been confirmed. And um, development in at HBO is not confirmed that oh this is exactly what is happening. But at the same time, there was this report that came out like about a few days ago also that says that HBO is not focusing on uh, they are not trying to focus on superheroes. They're not trying to focus on adult animation. They're not focusing on kids animation. Basically, HBO is trying to reshape who they are. So if you know that HBO is very independent compared to others, so whenever there are projects, they'll just say, okay, that's what's going to happen, and if the script of how the project is doesn't suit them, HBO is not going to accept it. HBO's pride themselves in being prestige. They want to be seen as okay, we are the big guys and we have this big say when it comes to things like that. So Waller and Powder Lois, which is believable, but these are not confirmed. Powder Lost has been in development for a very long time. A lot of people have been saying that the best thing they can do is that they find a new streamer to accept that, which would make sense. I'm in that camp where they should find a new streamer, make sure that they keep moving. But at the same time, Paramount is going to have to make approval. And if HBO doesn't accept it and the merger goes on and HBO says that Paramount says that this year should continue, the best thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on Paramount Plus. So right now, everything can be going on smoothly in the background, writing going on. They are looking in for the writers and directors. The only thing they need is for Paramount to say yes. So if Paramount say yes, HBO may not accept it, but it will go on Paramount Plus. That I can see. Now, as for how long we're going to get Waller, I don't think it's going to happen very soon. But at the same time, I would love for it to happen as early as possible. The people that are going to be on this show and not like Waller herself. Amanda Waller is Viola Davis is about 61 years old, and I'm not trying to downplay anything. I'm just saying that if she's going to do any kind of stunt, I don't know how the story is going to be, but she's going to do anything that is going to be physically challenging. I don't think she's going to be that person that's going to be that. But Viola Davis is very strong and still very young. So moving on, there's this news also that Catwoman and Poison Ivy are not the series are no longer working, are not moving on at HBO, which is the same thing. Which, by the way, you guys should know that HBO prides themselves in doing prestige and they are always script first and just trying to understand the concept. So, um, now, this Catwoman and Poison Ivy, what you do is that it's going to be in the Matt Reeves universe, same thing as the Penguin. Penguin being a limited series. We got information like about a few weeks ago saying that HBO doesn't want the Penguin season 2, that is not going to happen at their side. So the question is, what exactly is happening at that point? As far now, for this now, one thing you should also notice here is that a lot of this stuff says that like this first one now, it says that it's no longer in development at HBO. That means to some degree this studio still accepted it, and the only question is the streamer that going to put it is not accepting that. So the question is, are you going to move it to HBO Max? If HBO Max accepts it, then I think that's a possibility. Now, Catwoman and Poison Ivy. Catwoman at the end of the Batman moved on to Bloodhaven, and Poison Ivy we heard is going to be played by Scarlett Johansson. So the question now is that Poison Ivy is it uh, why exactly are they not choosing to do something? And a lot of people are begging, oh, misogyny, James Gunn, this and that, you know, that. I think HBO to some degree wants something that they can see that, oh, this is a prestige show. So now the question is, are you going to make it an HBO Max quality, or are they going to have to look for another streamer? And that's going to have to be done by Paramount. Paramount are going to have to look into it and see that do we want this if because now remember, if they spend that much money, the quality, the cost of production is going to be high. So I don't think that Paramount is willing to spend too much. Usually there's no return, but at the same time, Paramount love wants the DC IP because DC is very rich and there's a lot of people that love DC. So how they're going to have to turn that to their own benefit is left to them. So I'm still going to talk on this, but I want to mention one thing also. In this article from Diankla, they also mentioned that HBO is still interested in booster growth, so they're trying to work on a new creative. The script, about a few weeks ago, the script writer David Jenkins said that he's not, they're not accepting his own script, so they're not working with his script, they're going to keep under new creative team. And the question is, what is that new creative team going to offer, and is it going to be the quality the fans are expecting? So, in general, I would say that this thing, most of them is not James Gunn's fault, but there are forces that are bigger than James Gunn. HBO, you can't force HBO to do what they don't want. HBO to some degree and the HBO executives have gotten to the power where they are like, even if Warner Brothers try to force them based on any corporate mandate, they're going to basically tell them that no, we're not going to accept this because we have been tasked with this responsibility and we have to deliver to what you gave us and what you uh work you gave us. So I understand Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Waller, and Panda's West not moving on. But these four being women, which they like, you understand, they are women shows, and if you're not saying women, if you're not putting women on, I believe there's some sort of misogyny, but I won't say that this is outright misogyny or this is them basically hating everything. No, that's not what is happening. This is just they own every corporate body having their own mandate. Paramount have things that they want, HBO have things that they want. And I don't think these studios have gotten to the point where they have that authority to put in place. So what me I want, or what me I'll take them to do is that they should keep on moving on those projects. We have 10 projects that you announced, and I think about three of those 10 projects are what people are seeing, and it doesn't, or four rather, it doesn't say much. At least you should be able to clear at least more than half of that 60% of that should at least be in development or different various stages of production. Not that so if people are losing faith in DC, I think they people have right to some degree lose faith in these days. The question now is that what are they going to do? So for everyone that is going out there spreading information, I think you have to understand that there's a nuance to this, and there is like more information that are happening behind the scene just based on it's not this is dead and all that. No, they are just things that are bigger than what James Gunn uh, can do. Now, one of the shows that are moving on that we and got end of is I was aware of is Mr. Miracle, and the casting of Mr. Miracle has been on the way, and one new casting information is Nathan joined returning as Guy Gardner. I love the fact that he's been in every project, and this brings up the theory that what thing they are doing right here is JLI. I think if you've heard some of the interviews you've done before, and basically understanding the concept of the DCU, you would feel some GLI, that's just international inspiration in it. From the first story to the concept between each of the characters, there's a GLI inspiration to it. Remember, GLI Wally West is not Wally West is the main Green Lantern, and Superman is a bit younger. John Stewart is a bit older and more mature. And basically, how this character moves, it's basically like a live action GLI project, and that Justice League animated universe, and how that this animated universe and how that was behaving. So I think I love how Metafilion is there. They're building their own justice game, which if I feel if they follow the comic route, which there's a version of the Justice League National that Batman was a member of. So if they make Batman a member of the JLI, I think they can see that. Then when Batman comes in, it's going to just basically um, leave. It's going to be part of the Justice Gang and it's going to leave. So I can't really see your eyes right now, but I believe that's what you are trying to do, and that's the plan for the DCU. So what I can just ask them to do is that should know what they are doing and try to move on with that. And because right now we are seeing a lot of people rightly being pissed with what's happening in the DCU, and I won't mind if people are having issues or having doubts with what's happening in the DCU. Now, still on that article, there's from one of this year, it's clear that the article states that this is basically on HBO side. I heard it before. It's time to start looking for other streamers. Seems like HBO is still some red shit. It's not that, but I would say that yeah, HBO has an authority, and Paramount also has an authority to say these are the projects that are being current or non-projects. I would say also say that you can't really say that you have to get a new streamer. It doesn't make sense when all your universe are on separate streamers, and even at that, HBO is not a DC streamer. So like, I wouldn't say that if they're trying to get HBO quality, it's not going to work for them. I think it's just move down and settle for HBO Max. So moving on, there is this controversy that has been on social media for a while, and there's Craig Gillespie using AI concept to work on a logo, and this is Jason Momoa, and this is Craig Gillespie, and basically they are sub chopping AI art to see that okay, this is what we want to work for. Our logo is going to be. Now the question now is that what like this we understand that to some degree AI has been used in a lot of projects, even a lot of projects where you won't know AI have been used to some degree. Some of those are the filmmakers have been using it. But your problem is that a lot of people don't know, and this time around they tell on themselves. And I think Warner Brothers have been doing this kind of weird shit where I even decided to make a post recently talking about um what's happening in Warner Brothers and the effect in general. I'm trying to see if I can find that post. I think it applies in this case. So let me see if I can get that post. But before I go, let me just talk about this last thing here. The first 5 minutes of Lanterns, which was released, which is quite interesting. I love that. I love the concept they are going on. There's this basically some people are bringing in this grooming. Since we've seen from the trailer, they've told the parents that this your son is going to be the Green Lantern and have chosen him. And basically, I could see the family dynamic and how John Stewart was brought up. So the question now is that are we going to see more of this quality? But basically, I can't wait to see what Lanterns is all about. So let me talk about this before I round up. These studios need to fire or change their team. I kid you not. Someone or some people is working against them. Every time something great wants to happen, they find a way to ruin it. In less than a week, less than a week, in less than a week to London's cancelled projects, leaks, and even controversies get released. It's either their team are opposed to their leadership or the leadership is incapable of doing their job or they don't have a strong foundation to begin with. If Paramount takes into consideration the best case scenario is the DCU continue but with an oversight. The worst case scenario is the ego of James and Peter or David Ellison would force the whole team to collapse. HBO has made it clear they don't fuck with whatever they are doing at this studio if it would benefit their vision. The solution is to sit up or their job is over. Which everything I said here is true. Because that's all we know. over this week we have like a few days to learn things, and every single day from this controversy to this to this to this to that to that, it's kind of deliberate. It's basically like the worst case scenario. Everybody love lanterns and they're loving what they're saying, but how can we get them to eat lanterns? Okay, we can't get them to eat lanterns. Let's release everything from when Supergirl was released. You know, when Supergirl was coming to release, we've been seeing this controversy and the direction saying some things where I've been like, Galaxy doesn't feel like a team player. Maybe probably has known what's happening. And when we got that behind the scene information, they said that this is basically not a Galaxy project. And now we've gotten like a clapback where that could actually use AI, and it's not like, oh, we understand what you're doing. So it's basically some things are not right, and if they don't get their they don't get what they're doing, or they don't like try to understand and make this work, I believe it's not going to work in their favor. So I think the best thing they can do right now is that they understand what the fuck they are doing and sit up, and unless I would say that the DCU is in trouble. So um thank you very much for being a part of today's episode of this particular um, news roundup. Um, I really do appreciate you guys coming on here and being part of what we are doing. This is my small studio, my small corner in my father's house. I always switch alternatively. So I can be here today, I can be here, I can be at the other studio next week. But I think this right here is good. All I just need is lighting and make the camera work. And this is going to be beautiful. I don't love how this will look like. I'm going to just get an actual micro that make the mic work and basically just make every other thing work. But with all that, I love our singing. Thank you very much for being part of today's video. Make sure you're watching all our videos and make sure you're liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and doing all that stuff. Check out Streamdorm on every social media platform if you can. And see you when next we see each other. Bye for now.